Luxor. They call it the world's greatest open-air museum, but for us it was a lot more than that. It was a place where moments of beauty collided with absolute chaos, and then there were moments of awe that happened with the completely unexpected. Over 2 trips, one was on the west bank of the Nile, the other was on the crazy east bank of the Nile. We came across stuff that no guidebook could have prepared us for. Our first story was on the west bank, and it's a lot quieter there, it's much more local, and where the Nile really feels like everyday life. And here the temples and the tombs are just literally around the corner. And so were the goats and date palms and children waving as we walked past. Made the trip to Valley of the Kings, and the silence is almost sacred. You sort of shuffle your way down these very long tunnels and step inside the tomb, and you're met with these colors that were actually painted over 3,000 years ago. Still vivid. Still telling stories of God's journeys and afterlife that they believed was more real than this one. Beyond the Valley of the Kings lies the temple of Hatchepsut, otherwise known as hot chicken soup. It was a really rare moment for a female pharaoh. She ruled as powerfully as any king and built herself a temple to match. And it was hot, it was mid-April, it was very, very hot, but so much worth the effort of actually going there and seeing this incredible temple. That evening, our B&B host invited us to join in Ramadan. It's called iftar. It's basically the meal that breaks the daily fast. They fast from sunrise to sunset, and this they've got to all sit around and wait for the sun to go down, and that's when they can eat. So he'd organized a whole bunch of kids to be fed, and plates were piled high, and laughter echoed through this little hall that we were in, and the kids ate like it was the best feast of their lives. And it was incredible just watching them, firstly just sitting, waiting. You can see them all drooling, and then suddenly they were allowed, and they all piled in, and it was such fun to watch. And in a city filled with ancient wonders, this moment of generosity felt just as unforgettable as the day that we'd had. We'd imagined drifting over Luxor as the sun rose, and what we actually saw was complete and utter chaos. The wind was up and the ropes tangled, the crowd shouted, and there were balloons going up and going sideways instead of upwards, and it was absolute chaos. And we even saw 2 balloons that nearly collided, but thank God no harm was done as they shot into the air. But the sunrise came and went while we were still on the ground. The ride was almost cancelled because of the wind. But eventually our pilot lifted us into the air, and all was forgiven. Below is the Nile snaking between fields of temples and deserts glowing gold. And from up here, Luxor was absolutely pure magic. Our second trip was to the East Bank, and it's much busier there. It's livelier. It's like in the city side of Luxor. The streets all buzz with life, horses running up and down with chariots, many more visitors there, and it's history set right in the middle of it all. Karnak Temple is colossal. It's not just a temple, it's an ancient city of worship, and columns so big you can feel like ants walking between them, and every wall, every stone etched with centuries of dedication. Just an incredible place to go. When we went, it was extremely hot again, but so well worth making the effort to go and have a look. At dawn, we set out to explore one of Luxor's most breathtaking sites. That is the Avenue of the Sphinxes, and they stretch almost 3 k's and were once connected from Karnak Temple to the Luxor Temple. And it's basically a sacred route used in ground festivals over 3,000 years ago, and it's lined with hundreds of Sphinxes statues. Some of them are human heads, others are heads of rams, and it was believed to protect the god's ceremonial journey.
Here we are at the entrance, or nearly at the entrance to Luxor Temple, having come along the Valley of the Sphinxes. So, looking carefully at the obelisk, is it going to stay standing? It's leaning at the moment. I wonder how long it's going to continue to do that. Right. Well, we're going to take a walk past the front of the Temple of Luxor, and the front big pylon has these colossal statues dedicated to various kings and pharaohs. A single obelisk, the other obelisk was standing at this place, and it is now in Paris, but it's enormous. The scale of these things is absolutely enormous. You can see glimpse people through the gateway over there. There's the obelisk, and coming through here to some more colossi. Not sure who these represent. See how tiny the people are as they stream into the temple itself. The detailing on the obelisk, the carvings are very fine, very sharp, as if they were done yesterday. This is the open air museum at the temple. Apparently there are 50,000 fragments, pieces of the temple that have been unearthed during reconstruction and have nowhere to go at the moment. And they're all here, maybe waiting for a home, maybe never to find their home again. And here is the temple itself, with these columns. So Luxor Temple itself is surrounded by the city, and here is a part of it looks like a Roman section, a more recent section of the temple, but thankfully the core of it is in its own sanctuary and largely uninterrupted by modern city buildings. Far away over there you can see some ships, the tops of some Nile cruisers, and the Nile is beyond but it cannot be seen. So this is coming from the east side of the city, approaching the temple not through its front side but from the east side, as I've already said. There's a mosque, very visible, which is in use, still in use. In fact, it's had lots of people visiting earlier today because it's the first day of Eid Mubarak. And there's the temple itself over here.
Today running here feels surreal, as if the ancient possessions might appear around the corner at any moment. And with the morning light slipping over the stones, it's really hard not to feel you're part of something very, very special and timeless. This time we arrived after Eid, and it's basically a time of celebrating after Ramadan. And we missed the main event, thank goodness, but not the aftermath. So thank goodness we've just missed this, but they have just sacrificed 2 cows in the middle of this lane here. All the kids have got blood all over their galabayas, and this poor guy, this big cow, has just been sacrificed. One of the kids came and showed us the actual video footage, but this is being prepared and ready for a big feast. Hi. It's the remains of the poor cow. It was shocking, raw, and deeply real, and basically a reminder that travel isn't just about beautiful memories. Our last morning was calm. From a rooftop, we watched the city wake up and the call to prayer drifting over the Nile. Sunlight warming the stones. And after all that noise and chaos and crowds, this felt like a breath of fresh air. In Luxor, the past is never far away, and neither is the present actually. And we came here for the world's greatest open-air museum and the history. And we left with memories of people, moments and surprises that we were never expecting. Luxor isn't something that you see, it's something that you feel, and it stays with you long after you've gone.